The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
Okay, well, listen, good morning, everybody. We got a wonderful guest on the show. Not only is he a wonderful guest, but he's actually a really good friend of mine. We went to school together, and this will probably be chapter 2 of this podcast. But we have here today Sergeant Faizal Karmali from the Public Safety Response Team, and I just screwed it up again, which I always do, but that's great because I feel so like what I do. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
it. Pleasure. Thank you.
Like you. Okay, so the difference now between last time is you came obviously in plain clothes.
Yeah.
But I actually thought it would be really nice if you came in uniform as well.
Sure thing, man.
Because at the end of the day, man, the uniform does inspire. It does inspire, and I know for myself who had we were just talking about this a couple of minutes ago, the passion to become a police officer, the protector inside me that wanted to always, that has not died. And for me, when I see a uniform, man, I'm like, man, this guy looks friggin' sick. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
But how are you doing, buddy? Everything good?
Everything's been great, man. Everything's been great. I think last we spoke, I was working on a 31 division. I just recently transferred to this unit, to the Public Safety Response Team. Went there 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been great. The unit's been treating me well. I'm still, doing things in my career, and still doing things in policing I enjoy. And you know what? I'm just having fun, man. I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having
good,
fun,
man.
So I'm having fun.
So let me ask you this: just because I know I already spoke to you about this, but a lot of people listening, the Public Response Team.
Yes. So it's the Public Safety Response Team.
Exactly, and I said that on purpose, everybody, just so you can make sure. Is there a shorter version of this?
So PCERT.
PCERT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So PSRT or PCERT.
Is this a new initiative, or has it been something that's been around for a while?
So, I had this sent to me yesterday, and I did have a chance to go over the notes and whatever, and just to verify what our mandate is, whatever. So,
yes,
this is a provincially funded unit. And basically, it was formed in response to the rise in shootings and extreme events that were happening in the city. And so this provincially funded unit, it's formed of officers where we have an East team and a West team.
Okay.
Our mandate is basically to respond to extreme events, emergency response or rapid events. We respond to anything major within the city, and basically, and I can tell you here, just multifunctional support to the front line and policing is what we do. We also, and I look here, critical infrastructure protection. So basically, we are an emergency response. So for instance, if let's say, we talk about the Raptors. You enjoy the Raptors, right? If there was something major that happened at the Raptors game, like let's say an active attacker scenario or something like that, we're the ones to respond. And then after that, then we'll get the support of other units like our emergency task force and other police officers that can respond. So we're there for that. But again, we're also doing the piece of engaging with the community, right?
Okay.
So the community gets to know us more, right? And that way we make people feel safe, right? Or, as a Public Safety Response Team, we're out there to make people safe. So.
And it's a specialty unit. So,
yes,
so for example, someone that just gets into policing, you got to basically go through the process, you got to apply, you got to go through that whole element, and you got to have a certain skill set to enter this.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I mean, really in terms of skill set, like we have officers that are trained in certain things or whatever, right? I mean, we get some specialized training. However, it's just basically for officers that once you get hired, I don't know if you're aware of a program that when officers get hired, they're obviously going to do some time in primary response.
That's right.
As officers on the road, and then they'll complete their program of doing 6 months in an investigative officer, or you're in our criminal investigation bureau, and 6 months in the community response officer, which is our neighborhood unit, or even community response, where we're out there meeting with the community. So once you have that training and you're a first-class constable, then you can apply to the unit.
Okay.
An interview process, and go from there.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
One thing that I know about you, and I've known this for 20 plus years now.
Yeah.
I think your personality and who you are as an individual is so suited for this job. Like, I mean, like you are, when we, like one of the things that we're always pushing out is being a beacon to the community, right?
Yeah.
When I look at you, man, just your personality, you smile, you laugh. These are all things that translate to the job as well, that make you who you are, man.
Yeah.
So to me, like, the fact that you're still like this, and I say this because from when I met you in 1996 or 7, I think it was.
I think we went through. I think it was 96, 97.
Yeah.
It was around that time. Yes.
And the fact for you to be the same person, but more evolved now to who you are is incredible. Because most people can get jaded, or they can go through like a wilderness dark experience where something changes them, right?
Sure.
But you've maintained that, man. So that's amazing to see that.
It's all about, you know what, is you just be yourself.
Right.
You just be who you are.
Right.
That defines you. If you are as a person and you just be yourself and don't let anything in terms of positions or jobs or whatever define you, let yourself who you are innerly define you. You know, that's why I like to smile. I like meeting people. I like talking to people. You know, some of my friends make fun of me because they're like, you know what? I go out somewhere and they're like, oh, there's Faizal talking to this person again. There's Faizal talking to this person. Because
exactly.
I just like talking to people, I like meeting people, but it's just who I am. I just like to be a genuine person. And humbly, I refer myself as just a humble person, but I'm just me. I just enjoy life, man.
And that's beautiful. Look, and this is the thing. We actually had a Chief Stephen Tanner from Halton Regional Police here. Yeah. And that guy's been around for forever, and he's still smiling, and he's still doing that. For yourself, being in the scene for so long time. And the policing job is not an easy job. You are dealt with obstacles every single day, multiple obstacles.
Sure.
Your life is on the line, and literally it is on a daily basis. But there's things that can change people. And what do you do to stay grounded? Like, I mean, keep in mind, the audience here listening is not people just aspiring to get into policing, but these are seasoned people as well in law enforcement. And I think also it's important for them to kind of hear how maybe someone like yourself navigates through the career that can still keep you grounded. Keep in mind, we all go through our dark moments. We all go through our struggles and our obstacles. But the mindset, how we deal with them is a whole different thing. How do you deal with all that?
There's a few things I think I look at, because obviously you say like we go through a lot as police officers. We see a lot of things mentally. We deal with a lot of things, right? So you always want to look for outlets and stuff, right? And I guess for me is when I leave work, I guess I know when to shut it off. I'm going to come home and sometimes I talk to I'll talk to my wife and tell her what happened at work and stuff. Or, my son will ask me how my day went and stuff. But my other sense of outlet is, we talk with us, and it's very big as wellness, right? So whether it's mental wellness and physical wellness. For me, I obviously like to enjoy things to get my mind on things. So there's one thing that I do is I love playing hockey. So I'll go out and I'll play hockey with a bunch of guys, whether it's fellow colleagues that I'll go into a pickup with, or, I'll just play with guys. Doing something physical allows my body just to have that release.
That's good, man.
Huge.
So physical.
Yeah, physical release.
Yeah.
So whether it's going to the gym or whether it's just doing something with your friends, and even another big thing too is aside from physical, mental, right?
Yeah.
Going with your friends and maybe going to a local restaurant or bar as a police officer, whether it's colleagues you work with or whether even it's friends you work with, just to sit there and just de-stress and just whether you have, you have a drink or you go for dinner, it just allows you just to relax.
Okay.
And just relax. Everybody's different in the way, I can't speak for everybody's different in the way they handle things off the job and they do certain things. For me, whether it's physical, going to the gym or, doing some kind of extracurricular activity, and also mentally, it's just de-stressing and just, going out with some friends and just talking about life, right? I also, what I've started doing too, I think for me is I do a bit of meditation at home too.
Okay.
So I was, aside from the sports and everything that I play, I was pulling a lot of muscles. You get older, playing hockey. So I thought, okay, why don't I got to do something to help my body out a bit. So I started doing a stretching routine. And along with that stretching routine, I started to meditate. And that allowed me just to get the body to a calm and just forget about everything.
Like meditating, like yoga style kind of meditation?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Because apparently I've done self-therapeutic, motivational elements where they talk about meditation and about getting at a place of like absolute stillness and rest where nothing is disrupting you. And it's in those moments where clarity can come. But it's hard. It's hard to kind of get into that central part of that moment, right? Yeah. So for yourself, that you've been practicing, do you do that like in the morning before a shift? Do you do that in the evening?
I'll do 2-3 times a week. Like sometimes, for me, like sometimes I'll just get up in the morning and I'll just close my eyes.
Yeah.
And if I'm stretching, I'll just, I'll sit. I'll fold my legs back, I'm sitting back on my quads or whatever, and I'll just rest my hands on my quads and just close my eyes and just let my body come to a calm,
Yeah.
right? And breathe.
That's good, man.
Come in. So that allows me to forget whether I come home from work or the gym. That just allows my body to come to a complete calm.
Yes.
And that will reflect when I'm out there on the road or I'm working. Now I know my body's at a complete calm and I can deal with things a little bit.
And you're a very physically fit guy.
I'm okay. I'm getting older.
Well, I mean, look, however old you are, I mean, we're all in our 40s, or are we?
Yeah. Well, tell people that.
But what I'm saying is that,
Yeah.
you know, you've maintained that level of fitness, and you've done that through your entire career and your entire life that I've known you. You've always been involved into some sort of martial arts. Had I say what you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Faizel's always in Muay Thai, right? And I've known of that from a very, very, very young age that you were doing that, and you've maintained it to this point right now. That's so big right now because it's so applicable to your health. And I think, look, I'm going to throw out this statement right now. It's not my statement. It's a statement that that I've read, and I loved it the minute I read it. It says, if you choose a career in law enforcement, you've given up your right to be unfit. Okay. And to me, when I hear that, you know, we can look around and we can understand that everyone has all shapes and sizes. But for the most part, if you did come into the force a certain way of physique, right, of cardiovascular, of physical, whatever it is, it's not only detrimental to your job to maintain that, but I think it's also detrimental to your health, right? They say if you're stressed out or you're feeling something, go to the gym, work it out. You'll feel much better. It's like your body just takes it into a very different level. For yourself, how important do you think that is, being fit?
Extremely important, because there's two aspects to it, right? And you and I were having a pre-discussion about this. There's two aspects to being fit. So being physically fit, obviously, for the job, that allows you to be ready for those moments. Because, I mean, we deal with many, many situations, right?
Right.
So there's many, many things you deal with as a police officer, whatever. Like, you know, we will get that training to de-escalate, to verbally de-escalate, to use our tactical communication, stuff like that. But there's going to be those times where there'll be a volatile situation that you might have to deal with and you might have to get physical. And so if you're not in shape, you know, there's the potential you might get hurt, right?
Yes.
So you want to keep up your physical fitness so that you're able to deal with those situations, right? I've talked about this many times,
Yeah.
right? And that's why for me it's very important, because there's a lot of unknowns out there.
Right.
A lot of unknowns as a police officer when you go to certain radio calls, because a radio call that you go to could be one thing, but it could turn out to be something else, and you want to be prepared for it, right? So that being physically fit for that and to prepare for that, I mean, it allow you to be prepared for whatever you deal with on the road. The other aspect of it is wellness in terms of your mental wellness.
Yeah.
So being to work out and being physically fit, and I say that a lot, and to allow yourself to be in shape, it gives you allowed to have your mental release.
Right.
So it allows you to stay calm. It allows you to be a lot more stress-free. It's a stress reliever, right? Because
Right.
we all do that, right?
Yes.
Because as police officers, I mean, we go out and we deal with so many things. Aside from being in shape for the job,
Right.
we're also working out to give us a bit of a stress relief, because maybe whatever we dealt with on that day.
Right.
It keeps us healthy. Keeps us healthy physically, and it keeps us healthy mentally.
And also I think what's important as well is that you want to know that your team that you're working with, or your partner, is also on a physical level as well, because at the end of the day, it's going to contribute to the outcome, right? If you're trying to detain somebody and one person just does not have control because maybe they don't have the strength or the stamina to maintain it, it puts more pressure on you as an individual.
Exactly. And I mean, and that's why the pressures of being, you know, to make sure you're in shape, it's not on you, it's on everybody else, right? Because yeah, you're sitting in a car with your partner, you want to make sure your partner's going to back you up, but at some your partner has that level of physical fitness.
That's
too,
right.
right? So because they say that term, and I say that from, you know, our friend Tony, we've talked about,
Yes.
from Real World Tactical,
Yes.
right? You and
Yeah.
I have had that this discussion, and I follow Real World Tactical, and he had a quote that said that my brothers and sisters' lives depend on me being fit. So
That's
I don't
powerful.
know when to quit. And you see this gentleman, the way he's training and everything like that. So for that, if you carry that with you, because you also got to look at the aspect that there's people out there that, you know, obviously society's changed. And I've talked about this. Society's changed, community's changed. The way some of the attacks we've seen on police officers, whether it's been in the United States, it's been in Canada, it's been around the world. You want to make sure you're ready for that. And so whether it's you yourself or your brother or your sister from another service or whatever, you want to make sure you're fit for them.
Yes.
And then, that also as well, it reflects on that. It reflects on them. And they say, you know what? I got to make sure I'm up to that level as well.
You know what's crazy? You brought up Tony Sediment from Real Tactical.
Yes.
When I first met him, I met him in a green room. We were in Vegas for a big protection conference. And I just saw him in the green room. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was a speaker. And we just were having a conversation. And he's a big guy. He's about, I would say, 6'2", 6'3", probably 250 pounds. Actually, I don't want to throw that out, maybe, but he's a big guy. And it's not until I found out he was a speaker, they did this video of who he was an individual. And he was telling me about his career in policing and what he used to do. And then it started to show about the training that he did. And here I am seeing Tony literally jump from a standing spot 4 to 5 feet in the air onto those like platforms to see how you can jump, and seeing how physically fit he was, but also for him saying that in the job of policing, I believe it was for Miami-Dade Police Department where they worked for.
Yeah.
Man, that guy, to be able to have that maneuverability, to be able to do things, it just gives you so much more options. If you have to scale a fence, right? It may happen, right? Just like the movies, it may happen. If you can't do that, someone got away.
But it's also, for us in law enforcement, you see people like that, it's inspirational.
Right.
Because that also keeps you going too, right?
Right.
Because you look at these people, whether it's on Instagram that you got law enforcement experts, you got law enforcement fitness experts, you got people in the tactical profession and SWAT and stuff that are showing how much they're working out and staying fit and stuff. It's also inspirational to you when you see that.
Yes.
And it also makes you believe that, listen, I have the potential to get there, whether to be a police officer, but also to be fit, and I know I can do it.
Right.
And these people are motivating me, so it's going to allow me not to quit.
Okay.
And to keep going.
That's great,
and
man.
never give up.
That's great. And,
Right?
and it's good to have more and more of that, to see that, because
Yeah.
it's inspirational. For me, where I can watch Rocky IV, and as soon as I watch Rocky IV, I'm running in the snow, trying to work out, you know what I mean? So it's good to have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do know that being fit, especially as a career in policing, is very, very important.
Yes.
How many people do you know of, or heard of? Because obviously we do know that, first of all, just for everyone listening, almost every police agency is hiring right now. But today
Yes.
we're focusing specifically on Toronto Police, okay?
Yeah.
And we do know that they're hiring. We're going to get into that right at the end of the
Yeah.
show. But we also hear a lot of reports internally, because we're also very involved into the fitness piece, that many people struggle to fail what is known as the PrEP test. For our American friends, the PrEP test is a circuit that police applicants must go through to pass. And then there's the beep test, which is basically measuring your cardiovascular, and you got to hit certain levels, which we're going to get into. Do you know, okay, in theory, that is not supposed to be. It's not designed to be a super difficult test. In my opinion, maybe I can say this, maybe you can say this because we're fit, it could be a challenge, but it's not going to be a mountain that you have to climb at. However, I've heard stories where people look at it as a mountain and they struggle immensely. Do you know of people that failed the PrEP test?
Of course it's happened.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
People have happened. And you know what? And it can be discouraging for some, because
Right.
I think when you look at certain physical things, right, and sort of tests, you look at it and you're like, and even for me, like I'm a CrossFit out, I'm a CrossFitter, I've been doing it for years, and I'll look
Yes.
at the workout and I'll say, oh, that's not that bad, right? And it's the same thing with this. People will look at this prep and say, oh, you know what, I think I can do that. And then when they actually go and do it, they're like, oh man, I didn't realize it was like this, right?
Exactly.
So you are going to get people like that, and they'll get discouraged. However, if they really want the drive, whatever, they will find ways to achieve and pass that.
Right.
And there's multiple, and we've talked multiple resources out there for people to pass the prep and how to prepare for it.
Right.
And it's a matter of getting guidance, because that test, what I have seen with that test, it's a little specific in terms of how to train for it, in terms of like, you have this general person who goes to the gym, I'm going to train buys and tries today, or I'm going to train chest and back today, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing now, in terms of training, whether it's from police services and even people out there getting into fitness, more of training in functionality, doing more functional fitness.
Yes. Which is a lot what CrossFit is.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of police services are adopting that type of functional fitness for new recruits and for new candidates to get them ready. So I find that to prepare for a test like the prep, functional fitness is probably the way to go to get ready for it.
Okay,
right?
I see.
So yeah.
So for people, one of the biggest things that they struggle with, both men and women, is the certain elements where it's technique, is also really utilized at this as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that we've heard about CrossFit Fitness is that the moves that you would do in CrossFit are more toward the real movements that we do on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
Where if you go to the machine, I mean, how often are you doing, like, for example, a pec fly as an example, right? Where,
Yeah.
you're using the machine to do the fly, where you may be able to do something where you grab, I don't know, maybe 2 heavy objects or something. I don't know what it would be, a shovel, or you're pushing or pulling. You do quite a bit of that, which can also translate.
Exactly. Because it translates in terms of the skills that allows your body to adapt to that. So when we talk about these functions, your body's trained to walk, to run,
Right.
to stand, to jump and stuff. And now you apply that, for instance, like for the prep test, everything is simulated, like whether you're pushing and pulling, or you're jumping over a fence, or you're running.
Right.
That all, you're right, that all translates into the movements what our body is trained to do.
Right.
It works, it coincides with each other. It works
Exactly.
that way, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And the thing that you said we talked about the mindset. Really, if you hit an obstacle and it does kind of take you out, the mindset should be, how do I attack back, and how do I find a way to get there? And we talk about Kobe and his Mamba mentality, how he looked at things. I'm going to stay behind after I lose and do 400 more shots. To me, I think the mindset in anything that we do, specifically when it comes to hitting a goal like passing a test, the fitness piece to overcome it should be really starting with your mind.
It's all on you.
Right.
It's all on you. And like my son and I talk about this, how I see my son and he never wants to give up. And I have the mentality too that I never want to give up on something. And even if you want something physically, and we talk about the support is out there for you to attain your goal.
Yeah.
You got to be able to be driven to get there, and you got to be able to be driven to know what's expected. To go into policing or to be fit, you want to know how to achieve that goal and pass.
Absolutely.
It's all from here, man. You just can't give up. You got to believe in it.
I love the fact that you brought sports. We put analogies, Faizal, to sports and the real world all the time. There's so much you can learn from the sports concepts, from team, from drive,
Yes.
determination, all these things.
Yeah.
That to me is huge, right? So as an example, I mean, your son really loves hockey,
Yes.
right? And I don't know if his aspirations are to be pro, or I don't know, but at the
He's just a house league guy.
yeah, but at the end of the day, like, whatever that
Yeah,
bar is set up,
sure.
But these are the things that we kind of utilize.
Yes.
So for yourself, when you see people that want to get into the policing mind, obviously we talked a little bit about the physical piece, and again, there's an element of recruitment piece here where if somebody is very interested in a career in policing, for anyone that's listening, Toronto is hiring right now.
Yes, we are.
And the physical is one big piece. But I think another bigger piece is really your mindset around policing. I've heard actually recruiters say this. They say, one of the questions that they'll ask people is, why do you want to serve? Why do you want to be a police officer? And the most generic, like overused answer is kind of because I want to help the community. Right? That's kind of the most common thing they hear. And it becomes so generic. It's like, are you being real? Is this what you really want to do? From your perspective, somebody wanting to get a career in policing, what should they have? Meaning as in, like, as a starting point internally, what should they have with themselves? I give an example. I have a passion to be a police officer. And if somebody asks me why, it's because I have this innate nature in me to protect others. If I see a fight happening, I run right into there. I don't even know who these people are. I will run in to get there. If I was to see somebody about to jump off a bridge, just the compassion to help others would be like, no, man, let me see what we can do here. But to me, I call that the protector internal, right? So for yourself, when you see people that want a career in policing, really, if you want to take out because it's a good pay, good benefits, good pension, all that, you take all that away.
Yeah.
What should be the bare bones that they should have internally, just to make sure that they don't go down a path that they're never meant for?
You said the key word there earlier is passion. And
Okay.
I've talked, the last time I spoke about it's passion. You got to have that passion, be driven by that passion
Right.
to want to be able to do this job.
Right.
The passion also that you have is going to result in reward,
Yes.
right? Because when you are driven and you want to go out there and you see things, like when we watch TV, we see what police officers do. We watch the news, we see what police officers do, right? And yeah, serving the community. But if you have that passion and drive, that whether it's to make that person smile, or you go to that radio call and help that person, and they've been and they've had a bad day, or whether you go catch that bad guy, it's having that passion there to do that. It's also the community that you build around you as well.
Yes.
So you're like, for instance, everybody I work with, whether it's I've been on platoons and now I have a team of officers under me, we're family. And so if you will also have a second family when you get into policing, in terms of you have that passion to work and do the job, but you'll also have the passion to build those relationships that will help you succeed.
Okay.
Go further.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
And for me, like the building the camaraderie, I mean, you're in a place of leadership, and I love bringing these topics up.
Sure.
But you know, very much so we've heard it's a military thing almost, but the servant leadership, right? Where we're there to serve others. As a leader, Faizal, because you do lead a team, what are things that you try to do to help, get your team on the same page? Because again, they have to be on the same page. Nobody can have an internal, this is an I thing. This is a we thing, right? So what are some things that you kind of you at least strive to do or want to do to see your team all be on the same page to move forward?
I think for me, and in terms of leadership, it's taking care of my people. And I believe strongly that taking care of my people, knowing that my people are supported, and that I'm there to mentor them to succeed, right? To mentor them to succeed. So whether it's addressing problems in a way and addressing problems that they may have in a way to help them, or supporting them, supporting my people, and also supporting my people and creating a bond. Like I always say that, with teams or with people you work with, or as a leader of a team, you want to make sure the bond is strong. Okay. So being there for your people, listening to them, make sure their wellness is good, make sure that they're out there prepared every day, paying attention to each of it. Like I know all the guys, guys and girls on my team.
Right.
And I will know if there's an issue. I'm approachable and I'm humble. I'm not direct. I'm there to show that I'm there for them. And then that way I can help them in any way they can.
Okay.
Most importantly for me is mentorship too, right? Because, I have some officers or even officers that I've supervised. I'm always there for attention. And I think when I talk about the passion, saying that I have the passion for them to see them succeed, that I want to see them succeed.
Right.
I want people to attain their goals.
Right.
And I want people to believe that they can get their goals. So that leadership in me is all about seeing people succeed to where they want to go to.
Okay.
And that's huge.
That's good,
huge.
man.
And that's huge.
Have you been in a situation in your career where your life was almost on the line and or close to it, and having the mindset to navigate through it because it was a difficult outcome?
I try and look back in my career. I mean, I'm in 22 years now, right?
Yeah.
And I look back and I try and think about things. I've been in some pretty extreme situations.
Right.
But I look and I just let my mind control and allow me to persevere through that.
Okay.
I can't see what it is, but I just allow myself and build and have that I'm going to win this, I'm going to get through this. And we talk about with police officers as well, is that we say that, there's always that term, you want to get home at the end of the day. You want to get home to your family. You want to get home safe, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to have that mental thing that you want to win that fight, and you want to, you want to be able to succeed at the end of it, whatever situation it is. So I carry that with me, right?
Okay.
I just make sure I'm driven.
Yes.
And that not giving up is the big thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good, man.
And
these are all things that I think when people are listening to this, we're talking about passion and having the drive and being team and being fit, and these are all, again, very hand-in-hand things that all interconnect with each other.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we also talked about, just very briefly, we went fast, man. As soon as you came in, we started going.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we talked about was the experience that a lot of police agencies look for when they're hiring someone. They want to make sure whoever they hire knows that they have some potential transferable experience that they can bring to the job. And we, as a security agency, hire a lot of people. A lot of them want to get into policing. So for us, we always say things to them like, if you can't do well with the little that you're doing now, how do you expect to do with the lot when it comes down and you actually potentially get that option as a career in policing? How should somebody wanting to get into a career in policing, specifically policing, how should they be approaching the work that they do in their jobs now that may be in security or may not even involve security, but how should they be approaching the work so they can utilize that experience to articulate to a recruiter?
we talked about earlier about different, types of security jobs and whatever. I think on a main level, really what I see, it's life experience, right?
Right.
And so, you'll hear, people from employment recruiters saying or for people that want to get into policing, they say
Yes.
that, the key thing they hear is life experience, how to
Yes.
gain that life experience, right? I find that whatever job you're in, it's interaction. Right now, our key thing has been community engagement. It's been interacting with people. When you interact with different people, or whatever jobs you do, you're interacting with people, you're seeing different personalities, you're seeing different situations and stuff. And you might deal with certain things, like you might be in a profession where something may happen, a dispute or something, and you want to have to be able to deal with dispute, and you'll see that personality and how you deal with that personality. That'll build that confidence in how you can deal with things on a personal level, right? And get to see people. So I find that engaging with people, and whether it's engaging with people on a different level in different jobs, it's just getting to know people and just being out there and building relationships that'll allow you to be more confident when you speak, allows you to be more confident when you deal with situations. That'll build up your interpersonal skills.
Yes.
And find that. So,
Okay.
We talked about with security, like, some people think, okay, you know what, I want to get into policing, and I'm thinking, and people say, okay, go do security, right?
Yeah.
And we said that if you're sitting at an office tower, you're a concierge, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you're not getting that interaction.
Right.
You'll speak to people, you might deal with certain things. Where we talk about if you work in a bigger atmosphere, whether, you and I both worked at the Eaton Center.
Yeah,
so think
exactly.
about how much experience we had
That's
working
right.
at the Eaton Center,
Right.
and the amount of people we dealt with, the certain times of, I wouldn't say calls, or certain times of incidents that we dealt with
Yes.
that helped us gain that experience.
Right.
But it made you build your stronger in your confidence.
Yes.
It allowed you to talk more, and it allowed you to build that, I guess you can't teach common sense, but just a little more awareness. Right?
You have to have the ability to be put in a situation where you can try to diffuse through de-escalation techniques,
Yes.
through communication.
That is
I know we
huge.
talked about in healthcare hospitals, we talked about in malls, but another, I think, a great place as well, which we kind of actually really strive in, is the event industry. Now, we do a lot of like high-level events, but one of the things that the events have that also malls and healthcare may not have is alcohol. So dealing with an individual as well that, maybe is inebriated and his senses are off, could be posed as a challenge. How can you de-escalate that? And at the end of the day, all they really want to hear is, give me an example of a time where you were able to do this or do that and do this. And there has to be meat and potatoes to the answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the more you kind of put yourself in those environments, the better you can articulate to show, hey, I got that life experience.
Yes. Yeah. It's all about talking to people.
Yeah.
You build those things of empathy and sympathy and assertiveness through your communication skills,
Yes.
right? Because we say how communication is huge, right? It's huge, whether in policing. But being able to communicate and talk to people and just being out there and, building those skills, that just makes you stronger as a person at the end.
Yeah, man.
It really
100%.
Does. It really does. Like, there's so many different things in policing we can look at, right? And even I'm still to this day, you're learning. I'm still to this day still learning.
Right.
I probably won't stop learning till, till I pass on.
Right.
You learn every single day.
And not only do you learn more, one of the things you said as well is that the hunger and the drive that you had is not letting go. The steam's not letting go. The foot is on the pedal still. You're still moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this example. I mean, obviously, you're a hockey guy. Do you follow balls like basketball? Like, are you like a Raptors fan?
I'll watch. I was watching the game yesterday,
but if
I'll
the
watch.
Leafs and the Raptors were playing together at the same time,
Yeah.
you would follow the Leafs first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good luck. Okay. So with that said, when people make it into pro sports,
Yeah.
right? One could say, I made it. I made it into the NHL. I made it in the NBA. I've done it. I'm going to start off with a salary of whatever that salary is. I've made it. However, really what we want to see is how many people could we call all-stars or the top-level players. And the average career in professional sports is usually, say, 2 to 4 years, okay?
Yeah.
Injuries or whatever. But the bottom line is, if you want to become that standout, what are you going to do to maintain that and keep growing? And for me, one of the things that I get from you is that, you want to keep pushing into the opportunity world. keep growing, keep pushing. What else can you kind of grow into, develop into? Or it may be, I just want to be consistent day in, day out and do what I'm supposed to do. Like for me, like that's one thing that I've always really like noticed about you is how you look at the work and how you observe it. And you've been given those opportunities to grow in your field. What advice would you give to somebody? Just that I said that Joyce joins the police force. Okay, now he's in. Now this is for someone that's inside.
Okay.
And he wants to grow up the ranks. What should he do for him to get up there?
Main thing and for someone like you, it's just, you got to get out there and you got to work hard.
Right.
You got to get there and you got to work hard, because the reflection of your work and the reflection of your reputation, and I say this, perceives you as soon as you're out there working. Mm-hmm. That new officer comes out, there's an abundance of things to do for you to flourish, and the support is there. You're going to be learning each time. If you get out there working, being proactive, engaging with people, doing things to build yourself, build your skills and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. That's what's going to help you flourish. And you'll be noticed that way too, because as police, we go to different positions and, we try and attain different positions job, because I find this organization is a wealth of opportunity. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by wealth of opportunity is there's so many things you can do in this job. And that's what I really enjoy about it, because it's not like you can't just be a police on the street. You can go into our canine, you can go into our hold up, you can go into our homicide. There's so many different things you can do.
Right.
But for you to do that, it's how the first thing when you work, after you're done your field training with your coach officer and stuff, what you can do to flourish and what you can do to succeed. And it's all on you and how you work and you attain those levels, right? That's
good, man.
You will have the support out there, but your credibility will build upon how hard you work out there.
Yeah, and also not having a like almost like a give up mentality. What I mean by that is, I know many people that have applied for sergeant tests or this test or that test, and sometimes they may not do well and they fail it. Don't let that discourage you. Keep pushing. Keep reapply. You know what I mean? Don't let the obstacle take you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have many friends, whether it's who have tried to become police officers, or even internally that have gone for certain positions, whether it's promotions and stuff. And if you're driven, you keep driving, you don't give up. I'm a firm believer of that. For me, I want to show that amongst people that I work with. And like I said, I have a team now, and I'm sure that you can't give up. I'm even reflecting that upon my son. And my son sees that his dad's working hard.
Yeah.
And, and is not giving up what he wants to do. So I won't, right? Okay. And I won't give up. And you have to instill that with a lot of people. Like even for me, the first time I went for promotion, I didn't make it. Right. But you know what? The second time I did, I worked really, really, really hard.
Right.
And I had it in my mind that I didn't want to give up. You can achieve whatever you can achieve any goal you want. It's up to you to do it.
Yes.
And it's up to you to have that mindset to achieve that goal. And that's why I say to our listeners out there, we probably have listeners out there that want to be police officers and are looking for certain things and growth within their establishment, their organizations, or community. You got to be able to do, it's all upon you. You are your own worst enemy. So you are the one who can achieve your goal.
That's right.
And your mind is a powerful thing. And if you want something, you'll get it. You got to really work hard for it.
And again, Faizal, you just said your mind is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
We say this, the mindset. No, you guys got to understand right now.
Yeah.
The mindset is so powerful.
Yeah.
It has the ability, literally, to help you take an extra 10 push-ups. If you want and you push it, it can do that. It can make you squeeze that last set. It's all the mind. It's all the mind. And we just tap into 10% of that. I mean, get into the 11% where we might be able to move walls. You know what I mean? Never know. But at the end of the day, that's amazing that you're saying that. And I think people should understand that. Okay, let me ask you this. What can you do from your experiences that can help you push yourself mentally to get through something? Like, what are some maybe exercises that you have done or experiences, whatever that is? I mean, that could be in the form of determination, right? I give an example for myself. I wake up early. I wake up 5 a.m. every morning, and I put the alarm clock on. And the minute the alarm goes off, I do not press snooze. I'm up. And sometimes I'm up so fast that my body hasn't caught up to my brain yet. So it's like, oh man, but I'm up because to me, I want to get my first win of the day. So I'm setting up these little mental goals for myself to say, I'm looking at this getting up as a win. And I just got my first win at 5 a.m. What do you do for yourself that you put internal, I don't know, like little internal things that you make yourself be like, I'm going to get to kind of motivate yourself. You know what I mean?
I set goals for I guess for you, like you say, you get up in the morning and you're like, you get up at a certain time and I got up and that was my goal to get up.
Yeah.
I think when I look at a day, whether it's a work day or even on an off day, I think even for an off day, the goals I set for me is to make sure I have a productive day that allows me to just, know that I have a level of satisfaction after I've done it. So for instance, if I get up in the morning at a certain time, I want to make sure I get my workout in that day.
Yeah.
My workout in that day will allow me just to, to de-stress and relax. And I know I have a sense of accomplishment because, before I go on with this and we talk about with workouts and we talk about tired, there's been days where I've been so tired.
Yeah.
And there's been days where I've been so tired. And it's like, okay, what do I got to do to accomplish this day? And there's even been days where I've been tired after work.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I got to get this done, right? I got to get my workout in. If being tired and I get up and I go get a workout, that's a goal in itself. I know I've accomplished a goal because I was tired.
Yes.
And you know what? I still went and worked out.
And how do you feel after?
Fantastic.
It's like you just got off of that hurdle. Man, I'm glad I actually did that.
Fantastic.
Bro, I've driven to the gym before. I've parked and I'm in the car. I'm just looking at the gym and I'm like, I'm going home. And that's literally happened to me before. And to me, that's a perfect example where the mindset completely failed me. I was my own enemy. I took myself out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, that's good that you're saying that because I think a lot of people, when I've heard people put videos together, man, I don't want to go to the gym, but they feel so much better they did that afterwards.
It's all on you.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's like we talk about these little goals, whether it's, going to the gym when you get up the day or whether for me, like if I can go and sit down, at a local park near my house and have a coffee and sit down, that's a goal too because now I'm allowing myself to relax.
Right.
Because I need those days. Right. If I can do that all in a day, I know that I've achieved certain goals. And even just spending time with my family, that's another goal too. Man. That's huge for me. That allows me just to be, just to get away. Those are all little goals I look at in a day.
That's
right,
good,
to do
man.
that.
That's
right?
good.
But when we talk about, you're tired of not giving up, we say that can be reflected in anything, right? And you look at it in anything. And I actually wanted to touch on that about not giving up even on this job because you're going to be in situations where you can't give up and you got to win that fight.
Right.
So it
that's
goes
good,
along.
man. That's good. There's actually times where you can't give up.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. You want to get home. You want to be safe. You can't give up.
Right.
It goes in many things, man. In many things.
Good. So there's a lot of stuff, man, that today we talked about. But for people predominantly is that you want to be able to obviously have a fitness level.
Yes.
You want to work on the mindset. So
yes.
So literally work the exercises that you can get your mindset to kind of get trained there about the passion of the job. There's a lot of nuggets here, man. A lot of nuggets, which can kind of like go right down to now where Toronto's hiring right now. So I know you got some communications around it. Do you want to maybe just kind of throw out there? So for those of you listening right now, and as Faizal goes through his phone right now, just so you can be able to pick this out, we basically, again, are a development agency for a lot of people wanting to get into policing. And I think more than anything, why we do this is, especially for these series, is we want people to know the job. And we're hoping today that many people took value from this. And with that said, Toronto is hiring right now. So I'm going to throw this out to you right now. Do a little shout out to the TO.
So we are hiring, and we're looking for many officers now. So I don't know the exact number. I know our numbers have increased for how many officers we're hiring.
Yes.
Our TPS recruiting, they do a great job. They're on Instagram, always doing a live stream, posting that we're hiring, we're looking for people. And I've been in communique with someone from talent acquisition.
Okay.
And I got some information about us hiring stuff. So we're actively looking. We're looking right now. And so the big thing is just to get on our website.
Yes.
Get on www.torontopolice.on.ca/recruiting. Go there. Okay. All the information is there. But the information I have right now is that we're looking for police officers and special constables.
Yes.
And right now we have a general session one coming on April 20th.
Okay.
We have our weekly motivation, which is on April 25th.
What is that? So what is weekly motivation?
So this is our weekly motivation. April 20th is a women's only session.
Okay.
And May 2nd is a general session. We're trying to recruit out to our to our women out there
Yeah.
who are looking for a career in
And
policing.
there's a big demand for women right now.
It is.
Yes.
It's very big, and
Yes.
we'd like to, get more and to show. And there's some women that may not see policing as a favorable position. So this is an opportunity with this session to show women that you can do it, and if you want to look for a career in policing, this is the chance for you to see that the information is out there for what you need to do to get
That's
there.
good,
So
man. That's good.
It's good.
So we got the dates there. Well, actually, when this goes out, we'll make sure we list some of the dates as well.
Yes.
But again, for anybody listening right now who does want to choose a career in policing, do some internal checks. Ask yourself some questions. Why are you doing this? Am I ready to do this? I've heard many stories from recruiters where people go and basically go through the process and they go to do the test and they don't even know what the test is. What do you mean, a prep test? What does that entail? Just running? Oh, okay, cool. At the end of the day, this is a competitive market. It's not easy to become a police officer. It's a very, very difficult job, and it's a very difficult process, and the competition is out there. You want to make yourself stand out from the rest of the competition. What are you going to do to give yourself the edge? You know what I mean? So, again, there's a lot of little nuggets here that I think people will really enjoy, man. I really honestly thank you for being able to come out
Thank you.
in uniform to be able to represent, and you represent the force. Actually, we don't even say the force anymore, the service. You represent the serviceman to the highest level, and if there's more officers like you, the world will be a better place.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, so I just want to thank you for the time. I appreciate it. And like to everybody out there, policing is fantastic. It's a great, it's a great occupation. I've enjoyed all my years, and I'm looking forward to seeing anybody outside there listening that's looking for career policing. Do it.
Okay, I got one last question,
Yeah.
completely off topic.
Yeah.
How come you still look the same from 25 years ago, bro? Like, what kind of creams are you using right now?
And it's funny. I always get that question, right?
Yeah.
I don't do anything, man.
Yes,
So
yes.
I don't know if there's something.
Oil of Olay twice a day. You know what I mean? Awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
bro.
for having me. It was my absolute pleasure, and thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Amazing, man.
So
Thank
thank
you so much. All right, guys. Have a good one and have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.